can have a home office. You can do this right from your home. Now, there are people that have set up offices and have done those kinds of things because they want to treat their business like a business, and we encourage people to look at that. But I'll tell you, when you start making that kind of money, the rent isn't that big of a deal. But right now, to start, to get your business up and running, you have very little overhead. You have very little cost involved. And I'll tell you, that was what was so attractive to me. All of a sudden, I can work from home. My overhead is a couple boxes of chocolate. They send me an obscene amount of money to eat 2 boxes of chocolate and share it with other people, and I really enjoy it.
I always say that you can eat your overhead rather than your overhead eating.
That's I like that.
My dad is a doctor, $40,000 a month
in overhead,
$20,000 in insurance.
Wow.
So his overhead is eating.
That's amazing. But let me give you a quick example, real quick. For those of you that were at convention, you remember me talking about my team, the team of people that I put around me. One of my team is Mike Minnick, who's my accountant. I was talking to him on the way over here. We're closing on a transaction right now that we're investing in a little project. And one of the things that he had said, and he had counseled me on, he's a CPA and an accountant, does all the stuff and handles all of our financial stuff. And he basically told me in the beginning of setting up our finances for this business, he says, just keep a separate file. And you know what? When you get your invoice from Shesai, you'll get an email, and it will tell you how much you spent on that shipment that's coming your way. Print out the email, stick it in the file. When you go to lunch, take your receipt, stick it in your little binder, because I carry around my 150-day gold binder with me everywhere I go. I stick my receipts in it, I pull those out, I stick them in the file. It's just that simple to be able to create kind of a little system that you can do, track your mileage, write it in a little notebook. All of those things are tax deductions that you can take to building your own home-based business. And the cool part is, he even mentioned this idea of the overhead. He says, you know what, you realize your product that you're buying on your auto ship, he says, some of that you're using for your personal, but you're also giving that away, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, you know what, categorize it as advertising. An advertising expense, because you're using that to promote your business. I want to promote that as advertising in your business. Now, we have to take whatever you personally consume and treat that differently, but for what you actually go out and share and do with, you can categorize as advertising. So, I mean, all these ways that you can actually, we figured out just in a quick format that you can save about $6,000 a year just by having a home-based business and being able to do that on your taxes, tracking all those receipts, sticking them in a file, and making that happen. Now, I mentioned the most expensive way you can join Shesai, even with the inventory you get, is around $1,500. You're going to spend a little each month to get a box of chocolate delivered to you to stay active in the program. I guarantee you, you're not going to spend $6,000 in chocolate your first year. You just won't, unless you're buying a ton of it. And if you can write that off, that means that you pretty much can write off more than you're buying, which is a great tax incentive for those of you that are on a W-2 employee, or those of you that are currently owning your own business, or you're looking for additional tax write-offs. It's a phenomenal way to do that. You want your business paid for?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I can show you a way. This is really simple. Okay, we have a program called Share with 3. Yours is free. We'll talk about that in training a little bit. But I want to just share with you one way you can do it. If you're a W-2 employee right now, I want you to go into your HR on Monday. I want you to simply say, I need to have less taxes taken out of my check. And then we'll give you a W-4 form, I believe it is. You go in and you maximize your itemized deductions or whatever it is, and you put as many of them as you can down. And you just say, I want as much as I can. I'll take the limit. And what they will do is they will start the next pay period, they will start taking less taxes out of your check, and you will now be responsible for that liability of the difference between what your tax base is and what your taxes are due at the end of the year. Coolest part about it is, take the money that you just got more, that little increase that you got on your wages, because now you're not getting the taxes taken out, pay for your auto ship with it. It pretty much pays for, depending on how much your wages are and what your earning level is, it'll probably pay for your entire business. And now you've got free chocolate, you've got a business that's running, you keep that little file with your taxes at the end of the year, and you aren't going to have any sort of tax liability. As a matter of fact, it paid for your new little business venture. What a great opportunity for you to be able to take advantage of. So, again,
that's a great idea.
That is so cool. It's like an
Cool.
aha moment.
There you go. Free chocolate. I mean, you can go share it with people, or you can just have your company pay for it with the taxes. What a great deal. So, let's talk a little bit about who succeeds in Shesai. Amy Lester, I love this story. Self-employed housewife. I never looked back. We had just lost our home. Does anybody know anybody that's lost their home through this whole economic time? Okay. Listen to Amy Lester. We just lost our home after my husband lost his job of 17 years. I was looking to make money fast. I couldn't afford not to start a Shesai healthy chocolate business. In my first year with Shesai, I made more money than I had my entire life to that point. In her first year sharing chocolate. She treated it like a business. I will tell you, she is one of the hardest working people in our business. She does an amazing job, but man, what an opportunity to earn more in a year than in her entire life to that point. Glenn Overton, a transaction I was telling you about, that little investment, we just made an investment with Glenn Overton. I'm really excited about this because Glenn Overton is a successful hotel owner, business owner. He owns the Hotel Park City up in Park City where the Sundance Film Festival is held every year. That's kind of the base. That is one of the premier lodging experiences. I'll tell you, when you go up during that week, it's not uncommon to have Will Smith, Kevin Bacon, all staying at the hotel at the same time. These big movie stars are all there. It's really cool to be able to have these guys there. They're staying with Glenn Overton because that hotel is phenomenal. They've got a Ruth's Chris right on site. It's an incredible hotel. He said, and by the way, he's the master franchisee owner for Marriott's in Utah. So the Marriott Courtyard downtown Salt Lake, some of them down in Provo, down in St. George, they're owned by Glenn Overton. Here's what he said about his Shisai business. I own a lot of businesses. I own several large hotels, including some Marriott hotels. Shisai is my first network marketing experience. What an amazing business. This has been the best business investment I have ever made. That's big coming from a guy that owns hotels. I mean, go back to Monopoly, right? I mean, the whole thing was to get one little thing, so you can get one little, then you get a house, right? And then you get to the hotel. I mean, this guy's hotels, right? And he's saying this is his best investment. This is pretty cool. So anyway, I follow Glenn Overton. I like what he does. Morgan Alsop, young entrepreneur, came out of school, needed to pay off her student loans, did it with Shisai. He's now a diamond in our business, our youngest diamond to make it happen. Just phenomenal who's succeeding in Shisai. And I want to have Connie come up for just a quick second because Connie, a lot of you know Connie, you've heard her experience, but I want to have you share just a little bit of how this product has changed your life from a business perspective and financially what it's done for you. Would that be okay? Put her on the spot. Woo!
Oh my God. For those of you that don't know me, I started as a high school teacher, and we didn't make, our income was about like this, and but we had a lot of free time, but no time, no money to do anything with that free time. So I went looking for something else, and ended up in commercial real estate here in Orange County. As you can imagine, in the 80s and 90s, it was very, very lucrative. But as Jeremy said, when you own your own business and work for yourself, it's 24/7. So I had the income, and I lost all that time freedom. So you couldn't take that vacation. And I went skiing with my daughter for 5 days, and I skied one half of one day. I was working on deals on the computer in that little tiny room, obviously, and I said, as Jeremy, this isn't life, this isn't living, and there's got to be something more. And I had started listening to the CDs and Robert Kiyosaki, and I actually looked for 2 years for something to do where I could have that time with my daughter. And I needed to pay for her college fund, and I don't know about you, but back in the day, they told us to stick away $20,000 to $25,000 for our kids' college fund. Well, each of the last 2 years, she's now a junior, going to be a junior. It's cost $80,000 each year for her college, her tuition, living expenses. So, needless to say, year one it was almost gone. So, I need something where I can make money fast and create that lifestyle and retirement. And I didn't believe in network marketing. I had tried one other company and was not very successful. It wasn't chocolate. But this had the duplication system. It was chocolate. And Jeremy was almost talking about me when he was talking about I didn't eat it. I got in for the business. And some people get in for the product and the health benefits, and that's been wonderful for me. But I needed the income. And so I have learned to eat chocolates. I love chocolate. And even the peanut butter cup, which surprised me. Because you know what? It was easier and less money to eat 3 pieces of chocolate a day than it was to get in 10 to 15 servings of raw fruits and vegetables, which would never happen. Trust me, I've tried it. And it was more money to pay for that food. So, and I'd cook in the wok one night, and then, you'd go 2 or 3 days, and you'd look in the fridge, and now you had to throw everything out. So it was really expensive. So it's changed my life. My gift to my daughter was to pay for her college tuition, and I said, if you get good grades, you'll graduate debt-free. And this business has allowed me to do it and meet. And again, it's what you do with money. It's not the money. But so we're allowed to participate in more charities. I can give more, and we have an international family. So